how I accidentally made over $100,000 my first year in wholesaling real estate. What is up, guys? Zach in here, and in today's video, I want to share exactly the accident that caused me to make over 6 figures my first year wholesaling real estate. The accident I see with so many successful people that I teach who end up making 6 and some people eventually 7 figures in wholesaling real estate, that really, if you start implementing today, you can start getting deals and really stop a lot of the beginner struggle I see so many wholesalers having. The honest truth in this business is it's not easy. It's not a simple, easy thing sometimes to get a wholesaling deal. Now, the simple art of doing a deal sounds easy, but the execution or the consistency, or heck, going out here and talking to a motivated seller is the main piece of strife that you guys have, and a thing that is just a lot of struggle for you. And truthfully, there's a couple superpowers that can accidentally draw you to a lot of success in wholesaling real estate. Now, I will tell you, making 6 figures ain't an accident, right? I didn't accidentally stumble upon $100,000 in wholesaling real estate by just being dumb, okay? There was one thing I accidentally did, though, that made me this money. And this is a secret I could tell you, but you know, something I've been talking about for a while now, and I think a lot of wholesalers should understand this, but it's confidence, it's a firm belief, and it's conviction. And this could all be a combination, and this is really an important lesson for everybody watching this, but really what has skyrocketed my success my first year in wholesaling was just being dumb enough to believe, just being dumb enough to actually think that I could do it. I know it sounds crazy to say, and honestly nuts to speak about, but I accidentally got my first wholesaling deal because I just believed that I could get a contract signed. And because I believed I get that contract signed, I got my first deal. And then after that, I mean, confidence skyrocketed like crazy, but that simple conviction, that belief in what I said was so important. And I get so many beginner wholesalers who are just, they honestly struggle going out here and sounding good in front of a seller. They have no accent, they have no strife, right? When they're talking to everybody, they have no struggles. But when it comes to getting in front of a seller, they start freezing up and flipping out, right? They don't know what to do. And it always comes down to them not believing in the words they say. And a lot of wholesalers have this impostor syndrome of why they're not successful or why they can't become a success. You're probably watching this and you're raising your hand like, that's me, right? I struggle with confidence. I struggle having a firm belief. And I've been kind of going back and seeing the successful wholesalers and the non-successful ones. And a lot of you guys all were scared, but you can be scared and confident at the same time. You have a little fear, still be confident at the same time, right? And so the truth is the best wholesalers are the ones that always focus on just the basics in wholesaling. And what I mean by this is I'm seeing this crazy issue of all these crazy systems being pushed towards new wholesalers, right? You got novations, you got crazy subject to and creative finance deals being thrown down people's throats. And you know, I'm a product of that situation, right? I'll go and tell people these crazy, awesome, fat creative finance deals I do. And a lot of beginners feel like, oh, I have to do that. And when you start putting cogs and wheels and complicated systems, you know, to somebody, you get less confident doing it, right? And we just have to go back to what wholesaling real estate simply is about, which is finding people who have ugly looking houses, writing up contracts and selling it to a rich landlord household. That is what this business fundamentally comes down to. This is what this business is. The best wholesalers focus on the basics, not the crazy advanced things. And once you start focusing on basics of wholesaling real estate, you will do well. When you start, heck, this might be weird to say, but if you start thinking in more basic terms of wholesaling, of just like doing it, you end up doing more deals, right? And so the simple act of believing in what you say and believing in your mission will make you rich. And I want everybody watching this to really understand this, that, hey, you have to have a mission getting into wholesaling real estate. And you have to be completely unwavered on your mission. And what I mean by this is you're getting into wholesaling real estate for a reason, right? And we get the goal, right? In my opinion, the goal is different than the vision, right? So the goal in wholesaling real estate has always been to get a deal, make money, and do well. That's always been the goal in this business. But the mission, right? Like, what is pushing me? What is my why? What is getting me past the point where, heck, if things got hard, I'd just give up? What is that one thing? What's that secret small little thing stopping me? And what you're going to find in most cases, that mission is going to be something to do with your family. It's going to be something to do with something greater than yourself. Maybe your kid, your dog, your grandma. I don't know what you're getting this business for, right? But the simple mission of why you want to become successful, rich, and well off, right? And if you can stick and have a good mission, a good why, and you keep everything basic, you're going to do well, right? So if you look at the greatest battles, military, armies of all time, they had a simple mission, right? Oh, defend the country. We love our country. And they're unwavered to their country, right? And that's a great way to get people to run towards fire and bombs and all this crazy, scary stuff and tanks, because you love your country so much, right? You're willing to sacrifice everything for it. Now, we're not doing anything as crazy here, but you have to have some motivation to run towards a tank, okay? Like, you can't just do it because, why not? You have to have something that you want to defend greater than your own life sometimes. And that's, how armies and things like that work. But when we're talking about wholesaling real estate, it's not dire. It's not even close to being that dire. And we love our veterans and people that serve. But in wholesaling real estate, to go past the point where most people aren't willing to go, which is just extra work, cold calling more than an hour for a day. We have to have something that is greater than ourselves being lazy bums all day to get past that point. And what I mean by this is, hey, I got a son at home. I need to make something of my life. So that's going to motivate me to call. Something like that, right? But keeping the mission simple, believing that I can do it. That is what we do. You don't run towards another army not believing you can win. It's called morale. If you don't have the morale, you're done. Okay? So you have to believe in the words you say and the words that I will become successful and I'll get rich wholesaling real estate. It's what it is. A lot of wholesalers have this impostor syndrome. They don't really believe they can get rich. They really don't believe they can become successful. Or the worst one that I see of what we call impostor syndrome is a wholesaler not really believing in them. They believe they can wholesale, but they don't believe they're actually helping sellers out. And I mean, raise your hand, tell me, hey, like, when you got into wholesaling, you really thought, you know what, I'm screwing a seller, right? Like, I'm making money off of them. They should just go with a realtor. They should all go with a realtor because you get the most money and that's what you want. And you start thinking of yourself in the seller's mind without even being in their shoes, because it's a different end of the foot, right? It's like when you trade in a car. No, you should go get the VIN and go meet a random smelly guy behind a Starbucks at 9 a.m. and hopefully he doesn't drive off with your nice car. That's no, I'm just going to trade it in. Transmission's almost gone. Any day the thing is going to go off and it's going to be $4 or $5 grand. And so you start understanding that there's a benefit of trading in, speed and convenience for cash, all these things. And you start really understanding that I'm not an imposter. I actually help sellers out by giving them cash. They're actually grateful for what I can do. And sometimes, like me, you start getting a little aggressive towards realtors. You're like, realtors ain't nothing. But it's the truth. And so the imposter of thinking that you're not actually truly helping a seller out. I see so many wholesalers have this in their minds, that they don't truly believe they're helping sellers out. And it drives me crazy that people actually believe this. And once you start doing a lot of wholesaling deals, you figure out the sellers actually, they love what you're doing. They're talking to you for a reason. And so don't have this imposter. Actually believe in the words you say. This is so powerful. But say, hey, my name is Zach, and I'm looking to buy your property, me and my partner. Or me and my partner are looking to buy a couple houses in the area for cash. You have to actually, believe in what you're saying. If the words you're saying do not match what you believe in your heart, it does not come out good, okay? And so here's a truth, when somebody tries to sell you something and they know it's not for the best interest in mind, they're lying to you, right? They feel like they're screwing you. So if somebody sells you a bogus warranty, they sell you some medicinal herb that's supposed to help your life out, and the person doesn't believe in that product, it sounds like salesy, right? I remember one guy trying to sell me a car, and I said, is it really worth me spending 140 grand on this car versus a used version of this car, which is 100,000? And the guy told me, he said, it's better to have nice things. And I'm like, so you're like, you can't even answer that objection. And he just said, the words out of this man's mouth was just so phony and fake. I remember one instance, this guy tried to sell me on this water filtration system. And I said, is this any better than a Brita scientifically. And he said, I feel better when I drink it. And like, you could feel the lies out of the man's mouth because like you're lying. And if you're like me, and I think a lot of honest people sometimes are like me, like I can't lie and make it sound smooth and easy and good. Like I can't, right? I can't go tell you that I just closed 17 Ovation deals last month. Like I'm laughing just saying that. Like I would never. It's crazy for me to say, right? And the truth is when you lie, you sound off. You don't sound like yourself. You sound insincere. And that's when you don't sound good. And people it's very subconscious cues. And when you don't believe you're actually helping the seller out or you and your partner can actually buy it, a lot of people think, oh, I'm 17, I can't buy the house. Yeah, you can't. But if you say you and your partner can buy the house, then it's a lot smoother process. You actually sound like you know what you're talking about. You sound like you actually believe you can buy the house and you sound way more smooth. And so the reason why I accidentally made $100K plus my first year wholesaling real estate at 17 years old was because I actually believed I could buy the house with a partner. Like I was completely convinced because it's true because I just did a deal. My first deal, 17 years old, over $20,000. I was like, okay, I can do that 4 more times. Easy, right? And so I didn't really have that imposter in my mind. I really believed in the words I was saying. I created my standard. And you got to think about it like that. Create your standard. I have a standard to myself that I will hit my goals. I know why I'm doing it, and I'm going to continue to do what I plan out day in and day out until I become successful. This is really important. And I say this other thing too, but it's completely true. This is really important, okay? You have to be a little dumb to get rich wholesaling real estate. And what I mean by this is you have to be a little delusional, a little nuts to really believe you can become successful. And the most successful people in my life that I know are completely delusional, crazy people. And that's entrepreneurs in general. But you have to think you're crazy enough to be able to do something that most people aren't willing to do. Start a business and make a ton of money doing. When almost impossible, 0 people in your family did it. I just got to do it. I know the odds are really low, starting a business, in general. But despite the odds, it is better to die without any regrets than have regrets at all and go all in. But really, if you think about it, like statistically, if you're willing to work harder than the average wholesaler, your chance of success is insanely high. It's insanely high, your chance of success. And all of these successful wholesalers that, you hear on podcasts or that I share, they post checks in the Facebook group, and I kid you not, they all were just like you starting out. Hey, what am I going to do? How am I getting my first deal? I don't know. And it's funnier and funnier every single time I have conversations with people rolling in 20, 30, 40 grand a month because they're the same people that hopped on these one-on-one calls with me and they just struggled and no deal. And then eventually, boom, they get their first deal. Second deal rolls in, third deal rolls in, fourth deals. And it's like, now I believe in myself. I'm just going to figure out what's working and I'm just going to keep doing that. That is how success is bred in this business and you have to get going. Repetition is the mother of success. And so I made my first $100,000 believing in myself. I talked to sellers. I was full of delusion that what I am doing will work and can work. Now, you have to be a little crazy to go out here and believe in yourself. But really, you're the only person you can trust. There's no one else in your family that's going to go out here and get rich. And I promise you, I know you guys have family out here that's maybe making fun of you a little. What are you doing this little weird thing for, right? It's not like you're being a vegan. It's not like you're doing CrossFit, right? It's not like you're doing some crazy weird thing. It's not like you're okay. You're not doing some crazy stupid thing. You didn't join a cult, right? Like, a lot of people can make fun of you for doing a lot of crazy things, but what you're doing is something that's actively trying to make your life better. And you're not hurting anyone else in the process, right? Have you ever heard of people that join like MLMs? And I'm not saying anything bad about them, but you get into it and then you tell your friends about it and you try to sell them and then it's like, oh, this new thing is just trying to take money from me, right? And, we're not going to get into that. But it's like they say, it's to better myself and my family. Like you're just trying to sell me on this, thing. But wholesaling's different. It's like, I'm not asking anyone in my family for money. I'm not asking any of my friends for money. I'm actually not at all. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just doing this thing. It's going to cost me $0. I don't have to buy thousands of dollars of shipments, right? All I'm doing is just trying to find motivated sellers. And it cost me no money at all to do this. And so I made my first $100,000 from believing myself. People won't believe you until you start pulling up a check. I will tell you this. You'll have people that doubt you. You will have your family members saying, you shouldn't be trying this thing. And they're honestly right. I'll be honest with you, right? Like what you're doing is crazy. But once you make a $25,000 check, they start instantly believing. And they always believed in you, apparently, after all this, right? It's always funny. But that's how this business works. It doesn't come to fruition that your family members will say you're crazy until you actually do it. They're like, dang, you're cool. You go from crazy, insane, stop doing it to, man, Zach, you've always been ambitious. You've always been that guy. You weren't saying that when I was starting out. You weren't saying that when I couldn't hang out. You weren't saying that, all these things. And it's only said after all the riches and fame is there. And so nobody will believe in you except for you. Get over it. I know a lot of people grow up in, great families, bad families, whatever it is. And I'll tell you this, you always had someone to rely on. Sometimes you always had a spouse to tell you that you can do it. And you believe in you, I believe in you. And when you get into this business, you're going to have to just believe in yourself and not rely on other people to believe in you, because you have to just believe in yourself. If you have other people believing in you, but you don't truly believe in yourself, you're not going to get any success in this business. And I think that's an X factor a lot of people are missing today. They don't believe it. A lot of wholesalers actively stop themselves from becoming successful. They actively stop themselves from ending up doing plans and sticking and being consistent. And they let the excuses creep in and they don't become successful. Everybody will say they believe in you when you make it, but I'll tell you this, nobody will believe in you starting out, but they'll all say they believe in you when you make it. That's okay. Success isn't easy, guys and gals. Many aren't willing to become uncomfortable. You must have growing pains in this business. To grow, you must be in pain. And to have pain, you are growing. And if you are wholesaling and everything's super easy and there's no struggle at all, then you're not growing. Everyone's grown that's become successful in this business. No pain, no gain. And the reason a lot of people don't have pain is they have these excuses, these reasons why they don't want to become successful, these reasons why they just can't get by, or there's always something, those type of people. There's always something going on. Excuses sound best to the person who makes it up. So when you tell me your reason why you can't become successful, why you can't be rich, why none of these things can happen in your life, it only sounds good to you, man. Like, I'll be honest with you, it only sounds good to you. It don't sound good to anybody else, your woes, your issues in life. Nobody cares about them. And I'm saying this from the most loving place in my heart. Nobody cares about your struggle. Nobody cares about how difficult your day was. Nobody cares about you have a screaming baby. Nobody cares. Your competition's got no kids. Your competition's 16 years old, driving for dollars all day. You have to win. Winning is your only outcome that is possible for your family. It's the only one that you can do. I'll tell you this, the most dangerous man is the man that has no other options. That is it. Have you ever heard stories of men and women, mostly men in the old days, that burn the boats? When you have no other option, you always kick it up a gear. When you have no money and this is the only thing you can do to get rich and successful, your chance of becoming successful skyrockets because you have no other option. And once you start mentally shifting yourself into saying, I have no other option but success, then you will win. If you win though, they will say you're lucky. Your friends, your haters, whatever it is. I get this all the time. I've gotten this more than ever. Zach, you're only successful because of X, Y, and Z. You're only successful because of this. You're lucky. This is why you're successful. And you'll get the same thing in your life. I get some people I talk to says, oh, he's lucky. He was born in Tennessee. He's lucky. He was born in California. You're always going to be told you're lucky of why you're successful. And you already know why you're successful. But if you lose, they're going to say, I knew it never worked. I knew that was a scam. I knew that was always going to be a thing that was never going to help you out. I always knew it. You'll get that all the time too. And so understanding that they're always going to talk about you, your friends, your family, your haters, your spouse, whatever it is. But whoever it is that doesn't want you to become successful, they're always going to talk about you. Either he's just got lucky, or I always knew he's never going to become successful, right? They're always going to talk about you. So give them a show. If they're going to talk about you, they're going to watch. Give them a show to watch. It doesn't matter whoever talks about anything in your life. It ultimately is your life at the end of the day. And nobody's going to care once you're dead. Nobody. I promise you, nobody's going to care once you're dead. The haters, the naysayers, whatever. So you have to live a life that you are proud of exiting one day. And so what I tell everyone is get a list, get a plan, get to work. This is it. Get a list, get a plan, and get to work. Nobody cares. Just work harder. Once we start going from my issues, my excuses, once you have full accountability, your life starts changing. Once you become a man and start getting full accountability in your life will not change. Discipline will always create freedom for you. And so if you become accountable, and this is probably the number one thing I ask wholesalers, but track your numbers, become an accountable wholesaler. If you're somebody who wants to become successful and you don't track your numbers, you're doomed. If you're running a race and you don't know how far you've traveled and you don't have a gas tank and you don't know how much gas you have left, where are you going to, like, how are you going to win? That's the truth. Without tracking your information, your numbers, your data, you're screwed. Flying a plane with no odometer, without knowing your altitude, any of these things, like your speed, you're done. Without a compass, you guys are going in uncharted waters with no maps or compasses or anything. You're screwed, okay? If you're not tracking your data, your numbers, I don't know what else I can tell you. It pains me so much to see these wholesalers who are so brand new and they have so much mission, they have so much drive, and I tell them to track their numbers and they always, I forgot, or it's just not that easy, man. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. This is your life at stake. This is your financial future. This is your kids' future. This is everything to you. And you're not willing to track your numbers. You don't know how many cold calls you're making. I don't know if you're doing enough to become successful or not. Do me the honors of knowing this. You have to become accountable to yourself. You have to track your numbers. And I promise you, if you can track your numbers, you can start charting your course of if you're doing well or not, right? It's like if you're trying to sail from England to New York and you're going 3 miles an hour and you wonder why you didn't get there in 2 days. It's like, because you're not going fast enough. Simple as that. Easy, right? And so my advice for everyone, never quit, never settle, and never give up. The only way you ever become a loser in wholesaling real estate is by giving up, by quitting. That is it. I know a lot of people that are sad, a lot of crybabies sometimes. I'll call you crybabies, I don't know. But it's just wham. Trust me, I always say this, and I know it's cliche to say, but truthfully, every day above ground is a beautiful, amazing day. You might have lost a leg today, might have lost an arm today, but you're still alive. You still have air in your lungs. And if there's air in your lungs, you have the ability to change your life through wholesaling real estate. That is the only gift, life, breath in your lungs. If you're healthy right now, your family, your mom's alive, your dad's alive, right? There's always somebody whose parents died young, right? You have so many blessings in your life, and so many people my age, so many people my generation do not take it they take it all for granted. You have to know your blessings you have and take full advantage. Life is a precious gift. You are not promised tomorrow. So why are you acting like it is? Go out here and live the life that your family you have destined your life for your family, and do it for something just so much better than yourself. Stop being all about you. Oh, I'm gonna be lazy today. Oh, I'm gonna sit around. I'm gonna watch TV all day. Like, why? Watching TV is not gonna get you or your family out of poverty. The only thing that's gonna get you out of poverty is getting you out your butt to become a successful wholesaler. Never quit, never settle, never give up. I believed in myself because I was crazy enough to believe in others. And so in turn, because I'm crazy enough to believe in myself and believe in other wholesalers of how they become successful, I in turn believe in you. But the only way you're gonna get any success is if you believe in your dang self. If you do that, you'll have success in this business. If you do not believe in yourself, you will get nowhere, my friends. And so this is my message for everybody watching this. Believe in yourself, believe in the words you say, believe you can actually help a seller out, and believe you and your partner can purchase the house for cash. 100% belief. If you have this belief, this conviction, this confidence in yourself, the definition of confidence is a belief in the words you say, you will get successful. You will accidentally start making a ton of money in this business. But nobody talks about this belief. Just have belief, just have confidence. Yeah, you get that. No, I just believe in the words you say wholeheartedly in your heart. Go out here and do it. And lastly, believe you can do it. Be crazy enough, be ambitious enough, be a little delusional to do it, and you can become a successful wholesaler. That is what it takes. Be the few that actually believe in themselves all in, and you can make a ton of money in this business.